What are your thoughts on that? And that's really what I think would set everybody off is your video came on that, and I guess you then clarified later on. But if anyone does that, I think they should be suspended. I don't care if it's Tiffany Hayes, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Asia Wilson. That's just I've never seen that in football, NBA, baseball, hockey, nothing. I mean, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so before answering that specifically, let me just address, because I didn't actually address the videos earlier when you asked me about it. So I'll say, going into yesterday morning, so yesterday morning is when I first saw those comments from Tip Hayes, and I was like, okay, like, wow, that's definitely something that's going to get attention. And to be honest, like I had this video idea of me talking about like the relationship between players and fans and the media, like through social media. Like it's been on my mind percolating for a few days, and I knew I wanted to do a video about it. And so when I first saw these comments, I was like, okay, that's the perfect way for me like to get in, because I know that there's going to be interest around this anyways. And so I said this in my video today, that I approached that video not wanting to talk about the comments themselves and talk about the fact that there's engagement between a player and fans on social media as a whole, and how, to me, I think that's ultimately good for the league. In the first video, I didn't say that, first of all, so I should have said that. But I also didn't ever endorse Tip Hayes doing that. And I think that's kind of what frustrated me about some of the comments that I saw, because I never endorsed her doing that. And as I said in the second video, which I'll say again right now, I agree with you. I think that was not the right thing to do. Like, she was in the wrong to do that. And it's definitely, I said that like not all discourse is good. Discourse in that every time a player is interacting with a fan is good. And I should have made that more clear in the first video, but I didn't. And I'll own that. Like, that's on me. But yeah, I think that was, ultimately, look, and for the death threat thing, like I did get two death threats today. I'm not going to give you proof of them, but like I didn't believe that happened, but like I got two today via email. So it happens.
Okay.
And it's like, it
should never happen. That's terrible.
Agreed. Yeah. It's not, it shouldn't ever get to that level. But yeah, I think it was wrong what Tip did. I also do we really think that the person that she's talking to is going to take whatever Tip said, like, as proof that she should go like attack Caitlyn? I personally don't think so. And I don't think, like, Caitlyn is a gigantic star. And as you said before, like, she's already dealt with stalkers in her life. She's going to deal with creepy fans and stalkers regardless of what's said on social media. And so I don't necessarily think a WNBA player like saying that to her is going to convince that fan to actually go do something. Like, it's just, we know, like, it's just social media trolls, like, trying to find some fodder to talk about, especially anti-Caitlin Clark fans. Like, yeah, it's annoying as hell, but that's the reality of the WNBA right now. And so, yeah, I think what Tip did was not right. And I don't think that's the way a fan should be engaging with the player. But I also don't think it necessitated as strong as a reaction as a god. And especially, like, for me, just someone covering, like, I don't think, like, I think a lot of people were talking about inciting violence. That's what Tip was doing. But a lot of the videos about me today, like, people were essentially doing the exact same thing that they were just condoning from Tip Hayes. And these, like, there's a lot of, check your comment section, check the other videos comment section. Like, there's a lot of people shitting on me right now, which, like, okay, that's fine. But that's, it feels kind of hypocritical for someone to be condemning Tip Hayes, what Tip Hayes said, and then also spewing the same thing about another person in the WNBA media.
I have personally had at least 5 videos dedicated to me from other podcasts. I'm not a WNBA media member. I'm a podcaster. I've had them threaten me through video, to where I figured out I learned it. I work in legal, so I know exactly where they live, where they work, where they eat, where they sleep, just in case something is to happen, because there are people that are unhinged. So I'm going to presume that probably not, that person's not that crazy, and it's just social media. But there could always be that individual that is unhinged, and there are unhinged humans out there. And I have experienced all kinds of nasty comments to myself on videos by other people. And I think that the WNBA as a league is standing on some type of no hate, but it only seems to work one way. It seems to work one way. Caitlin Clark has gone out of her way to do everything she can. And she walks out with Morgan Wallen, and now she's this racist piece of shit. That's what came out that day when she walked out with a country music singer, while there's been multiple black athletes who have walked out with that same country music singer. There's people are crazy, and it's great for players to engage with fans, but when they start going from that direction of violence and being off the wall and crazy, You need to stop that as a player. I'm like, no, you can't. That's not even funny. And then on top of that, Tiffany Hayes, after the game, was caught on a hot mic talking shit about Caitlin Clark and her fouls or whatever, when Caitlin Clark gets fouled 5 times a play. I mean, they foul the crap. They've been fouling the crap out of her for 3 years. For 3 years. And largely, she doesn't get the calls that players like an Asia Wilson gets, or even Paige Beckers gets right now in this league. So I push back on the, just because we think it probably won't happen. The WNBA needs to do something about it, because they preach this no space for hate, but they don't follow it. They had no problem doing an investigation on monkey noises last year. What were your thoughts on that? Because the player that supposedly was the victim of it, Angel Reese, she was supposedly 5 feet from it, but never heard it until people on social media, Chicago Sky fans, Angel Reese fans, started posting this stuff. And then the WNBA does some massive investigation and finds nothing. What are your thoughts of stuff like that?
Yeah, I agree that that was just really handled poorly all of last year. Like all around, that was just wrong. That was wrongly handled by the WNBA. And yeah, I mean, again, like I don't think what I agree. Like Tip should not have said what she said, and I don't think that's right. And I think there probably should be consequences at some point, or like at least to some degree, or at least maybe not even consequences necessarily, but like proper media training, or at least have all these players understand what the consequences of their actions can be. Because as you're right, there's a lot of crazy fans out there, but I guess for me, it's just I don't necessarily think that interaction, like her saying that, yes, it was wrong, and I don't agree that she said it, but I just don't think that really increases the chances of Kaylin being harassed or stalked by that specific fan any more than they would have otherwise. Because I mean, as you said, like Trump has dealt with however many assassination attempts in the past 2 years. Like no one knew about those people beforehand. Like it kind of just comes out of the blue regardless. And so you can't really like pinpoint and predict these things necessarily based off of what someone's saying on social media.